Hey, what's happening, everybody? Thank you for tuning in. This is an offshoot episode. I really wasn't um, going to do this as a video, but I was hoping that this machine came already ready to rock and roll. Now, if for those of you leather crafters out there, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for the support. Come on, camera, let's get you back right. Uh, there we go. All right, thank you guys for tuning in. I haven't been doing a lot of videos because I've been having a lot of other things going on. But I'm going to do this one here because let's make sure we get this one full screen. But okay, we're going to let it rock and roll. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I bought this patcher, Chinese patcher sewing machine. And I bought this thing about 3 weeks ago, but we went under two hurricanes back to back, Helene, and then we went through Milton last week. So one of the reason why I went ahead and purchased it was because it's non-electrical, so it's manual. So I figured, well, if anything worse come to worse happens with the storms, power goes out, I still can get some sewing done. But with these patchers, right now they're on sale if you buy this on Amazon. Let me see if I can show you guys what this is. Um, these patchers right here, this is it. If I can pan that out, let me get the camera right, and then we'll reset this up. But this is the patcher right here. And they come complete. They come with everything that you would need. However, they do not come ready to use. So there are some things that you're going to have to do, some things you got to modify in order to get it up and running. Now there are several videos that's out on YouTube to where you can get these machines and they can update you a little bit. But being that this is my first purchase on this patcher, I all of the reviews that I've read on this thing are phenomenal once you get it set up and ready to run. So for all of you new crafters out there, or your intermediate crafters, um, and you're trying to speed production up into your work, these are a great investment right now. They're on sale right now on Amazon. You can get these for $84. Now, way cheaper than the Tipman Boss that you can get from any leathercraft supplier, and way cheaper than a Cowboy 4 or a Conseco, all of these other high dollar leather machines. Now, this is a boot patcher machine. So if it's good enough to sew through soles of boots, it's good enough to sew through what we use in, I'm gonna say up to 8 to 9 ounce leather. So this is why I bought it, because going into my Christmas season, I wanted to make sure that I had a way to push production up so I don't be saddle stitching a lot. I lose a lot of money. And you guys, if you're crafters out there, you already know as well. Saddle stitching, it takes a lot of time. It actually takes up probably about 70%, 60 to 70% of your time in saddle stitching. So I bought the patcher to speed that up. But let's break this down. So if you guys decide that you want to buy this, I recommend that you buy it for the price point, especially you beginner leather crafters and your intermediate leather crafters. It's a great price point at $84.99, as well as you can learn how to sew on this. Now, these things are built to last. I can't take nothing away from our foreign Asian family, but when they ship it, it just comes into the box. So just know that you have to do some modifications on these. So first thing that you would need to do if you decide to buy this machine is get you some metric Allen wrenches. You're gonna need metric Allen wrenches. Chinese are not on the standard system, so a 1/4 inch or 3/8 Allen wrench is not going to work on these. You need to get you some metric. Secondly, you're going to need a 10 millimeter either a box wrench or a socket, whichever the case may be. Now, they send you this little nylon thread, but I don't know of any leather crafter that uses nylon thread. This stuff is horrible. Most leather crafters use wax thread or corded thread. And that's because you need that for the durability and the long lasting of your stitches, especially wax thread. Wax thread, the longer you have that particular piece, the harder that wax gets, and especially when you're saddle stitching. Now, this is a walking foot patcher. So know that you're getting all of the perks, you're just not getting it set up and ready to rock and roll. So from the videos that I watched, and there is no instructions. Keep that in mind. There is no instructions in this thing. That's all you get. It just tells you what parts you got, and also tells you to oil it. You have everything that you need as far as the bobbins. They send you about 10 needles that come with it. You get this funky looking wrench that's in here that comes with it, but get you a 10 millimeter. You're gonna need that. As well as I had some old magnets laying around. You're definitely gonna need the magnets too in order to pull the bobbin out. So I'm gonna move this my camera around so you guys can see exactly how we're gonna do this. So first thing first, you need to set your cams up in this shoe patcher. Without setting the cams up, it's not going to work for you at all. So let's get to the camera and move this. I brought this downstairs and not in the shop because I had a little bit more light. So we're going to angle this. I want to make sure you guys can see. This is the part we're going to be working on. These are your cams here. And I thought that I can blow this up, but you want to turn this to where this is at the 12 o'clock position. Your crank. This is 12 o'clock noon, so we're going to adjust these cams to where it's touching this first plate, this first striker plate, to where it's barely touching it, right? And then we'll adjust a second cam on the back to where you want that set screw to split the two top screws. So let's get right off into this, and we're going to hope that we set this thing up just right. Again, you're going to need some metric Allen wrenches. So now this is your first striker plate. This is the second one here. So you want to turn this right when it hits. It gives you just a little bit of resistance, which should be about 12 o'clock. And we're going to adjust these. You want to adjust the back striker plates. Now this is going to be a two-part video, because to set this up in one long video, I don't want you guys I don't want to kidnap you for an hour on trying to do this. But I'm estimating it's going to take you roughly about an hour to get all of this set up to where you can get it ready to rock and roll. So we're just loosening these Allen screws here. I'm going to back those out just a little bit. And make sure you take your time with these, because you don't want to be in the position where you're going to start reordering screws again. And I think this one here is already stripped out. See, that's what I mean by if you're not mechanically inclined, don't worry about that, because these things are so easy to set up. You're really not going to mess anything up for real. But just take your time and set this up. Take your time. So I just want to break that thread. Not break the thread, but break that bolt on there. Now, it wouldn't hurt either for you to get you some Croyle. Either get you some Croyle or some WD-40. Because again, these things they come complete. They just don't come ready to work when you get it. And also, if you're going to buy this machine, please understand that you're going to have to oil it every time before you use it. So get you a can of WD-40 or get you some Croyle, and it keeps everything lubricated and ready to use. Again, you guys, this is my first time doing this as well, so bear with me. But I want you guys to see just uh, how these actually put together and work. So even if you decide to uh, get off of the live, that's not a problem. The video will stay up for about 30 days. So you guys can always come back and tune in later. And I think this head right here, this screw head is already stripped. That's what you don't want to run into, is stripping a head already. Thank God I got a backup set of metric Allen wrenches. Now, and don't be frustrated at the setup, because it's just going to take some time to get this down. All right, so now we're going to move this to where it's right. I didn't back that out far enough. And you're just going to split this keyway right here. Mike needs a little bit of encouragement too to loosen that up, because that cam, it has to split between these two. So you just want to move this over and slide that off. All right, so it's now giving a little bit of resistance on that first striker plate here. So now we want to move this just to split that just a little bit. I think that has another key, a key in there, a set key. You just want to pry that open a little bit and move that. Again, make sure you keep you some Croyle. Good God about it. Might have to take this key out and squirt some Croyle down in there, just to get that lubricated a little bit. Because this second cam has to hit this second striker plate back here in the back. There we go. There we go. So we're good to go there. I'm going to put my key back in. And then from here, we're going to tighten everything back up. And then we're going to move to the front of the machine to get the bobbin set and locked in. And once we get that locked in, then we can start working on this push rod, making sure that the push rod is in time with the bobbin. Good God almighty. That got stuck. There we go. All right, so now we're good to go here. Should we get that first tension right there at the first striker plate, and then as it rolls around to the next one, we're going to make sure that everything is in time. So let's get you guys moved around to here. And this is what we're going to start working on now. Get this camera right. All right, so now we're going to be working here to make sure that the bobbin is set in there correctly. Now this is where you'll need your magnet, because you're going to take your magnet and pull your bobbin out. This is how you pull your bobbin, with your magnet. Now the bobbin housing, the little housing plate that your bobbin is on, you want to make sure that it is set to the back side. Again, you want to make sure this thing is lubed all the time, man. This is it's crazy how you have to oil this thing a lot. So make sure that when you just understand when you get ready to buy this, that you want to make sure that it's oiled. All right, so now we're at the 12 o'clock position, and we're going to make sure that our bobbin sits in this way with the half moon toward the back of the machine. This is where you want to put it at. So even when you thread this through, you want to just make sure that it sits down in there. Once you get your cam set, you want to make sure that your bobbin sets, the shuttle sets toward the back of the machine. Now that that's right, 12 o'clock noon, and then we're going to put our bobbin in right inside the cradle, right inside there. Now, once that's set up, your cams are set up, your bobbin is set up. Now we need to make sure that this little push rod here is set up correctly. So this needs to be at the 2 o'clock position, but these two little pins need to be all the way over to here. So now the way to do that is you'll take your 10 millimeters, and you're going to loosen these two nuts. And you're just going to take your finger and push this all the way over. Make sure that that's loose enough. And see how that comes, how this little part comes out right here on the end? You want to make sure that that is striking just the way it's supposed to strike. All right, so that's right there, set just right. And you want to make sure that your needle is all the way up. So this is all the way up right here, and we're going to tighten these back down. It won't hurt to spray your little coil there and make sure that it's oiled all the way in the inside there. Because this is what that shuttle rod, this rod goes in and back and forth to turn your bobbin to give you that lock and stitch that you will need. So we're just going to hand tight that. Don't crank it all the way down. You just want to make it to where you can work with it. Now threading this is going to be pretty simple and elementary. I'll get to that part later, but this is all in just setting up the machine itself. Now, one thing that you will have to add is a needle platform. You're going to have to create and make your own needle platform. What I did, I went to Dollar Tree and bought these little plastic cup coasters, and I took my hole punch, my quarter hole punch, and punched a hole in the center of it so my needle rod can go right up through the base of it. So this is now my threading platform. Easy peasy, it's free spinning, so it's going to work fairly well. So once we put that back on top of the platform there, now we can come and put our needle and our thread up here on the top, so you guys can see how that is. But this is something, it doesn't come with the machine. This is something that you're going to have to make on your own. So just understand that you're going to have to make this. Again, $1.25. I bought a set of 4 of these. Well, because it's 4 that comes in a pack. So, but it's very inexpensive. I mean, that was just cheap for me to punch a hole in it and then to have my threading platform up there. Because this right here is an absolute travesty, this nylon thread. I was just really trying to use it to see how it was going to work, just so I can get to threading it up, but I'm never going to use nylon thread. That's never going to happen today. It's not as long as I'm crafting leather, but that's not going to happen. But this is how you get that set up there. So now we want to just make sure and check that everything hits right. Now, the only other adjustment that we're going to have to do is we're going to have to adjust our needle depth, how deep it's going to go into the bobbin. Now, as it comes right now, and this is a simple adjustment, you have where your needle is going to come out the bottom here. You want your needle to touch your finger. You want it to touch the finger but not pierce and not draw blood. So Cam's set up, the bobbin and the shuttle is set up correctly. Now we just make sure that our needle depth is going to go deep enough into our bobbin in order for it to catch that stick, that thread, and loop it and lock it. So now this is just a simple adjustment. Now you get this little screwdriver that comes in the kit. So what we're going to do here is unscrew this and drop this needle down just a little bit. And then you're gonna probably do this about 2 or 3 times just to make sure that you have the right depth. Now, the way the needle goes in is simple. It has one flat surface, and that flat surface goes up against your needle housing here. So once you go there, then the screws into that flat surface. So we just want to make sure that we get this down deep enough into the housing to where, and it's still not deep enough. Now you can adjust the depth of your needle here, how deep it goes with this bolt here, but we'll get to that point at another video. I just want to make sure that is getting down deep enough. So let's drop this right quick and make sure that that goes in there. It's still not going down deep enough. So we're going to loosen this up here and drop this down. I think we're at the 22-minute mark. So I'm going to stop at this point, and what I'm going to do is come back with a second video again later. Again, I don't want to kidnap you guys and make you watch this all the way through for an hour. So I'm going to do some tweaking and making sure that everything comes up right. And then I'll come back with another video in a day or so. So I thank you guys for tuning in this far. But let me just go ahead and say this. These Chinese patchers, they are great for beginners and intermediates alike, or even though if you've been crafting for a while and you've been saddle stitching like me, I've been saddle stitching since 1995. And actually I got pretty fast at saddle stitching. But the more you do leather work, the busier you get. You can only push customers off so long. And right now, going into the Christmas season, some crafters started Christmas season in September, last month. Generally, I would cut off Christmas orders October 15th. But this is why I bought this shoe patching machine. If you guys buy this, buy it. $84. You cannot beat $84 on a leather sewing machine. And it's going to do everything the Tipman Boss, the Cowboy is going to do. I mean, you just got to do a little tweaking, a little tweaking to it. But it's no different than buying Tandy leather tools. Sometimes you got to do a little tweaking to Tandy's leather tools to get them at the right depth and pitch too as well. So if you're familiarized with doing that and you got just a little bit of mechanical knowledge about deburring or maybe drilling your needle hole a little bit bigger, if you just got a little bit of mechanical knowledge, this is a great investment. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm the Leather Cowboy. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.